Dawson's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. This is going to be a little bit of a Super Sentai topic discussion video on a question I've seen go around a little bit, especially more recently with the more Dawn Brothers news coming out, but I've seen it come out quite a bit since we've gotten the Toei Hasbro split rumors. And the question is the reason for Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers' uniqueness and weirdness because of the split happening? Meaning the reason they decided to swing for the fences and go for really out there designs is because they don't have to think about Power Rangers anymore. And before I get started talking about it, I just want to say, as I usually say at the beginning of these, as of this recording, the Toei split rumors is just that. It's a rumor. We don't know exactly what's happening. This is just for the purpose of a thought exercise and kind of thinking about what might be happening and going based on the clues we have. And so the idea, like I said, is that Toei knew that, okay, we don't have to think about Power Rangers anymore, so let's try something different. And is that the case? I think it could have gone one of two ways if this is true. I think that's certainly possible, that sometime after Hasbro took over, basically the talks and everything was put in place for an eventual split, so they wouldn't have to think about Power Rangers footage anymore. And then maybe around that same time they were thinking of making a change, because there's also rumors that the reason Zenkaiger and stuff is so different is because they wanted to try something different to sort of re-spark interest in Sentai, since interest has been waning. So maybe those two things sort of coalesced, and you have like, okay, well, we don't have to think about Power Rangers anymore. We've been wanting to try something different. Now we finally can, because we don't have to think about Power Rangers. Now, on the other hand, it's also maybe possible that they decided to go through with stuff like Zenkaiger, and Hasbro got an early look at it and thought, oh, this is weird, and maybe that pushed Hasbro to finally make the decision to make the cut. I think it could have gone one of those two ways. Maybe it's some sort of combination of both, where one thing sort of forced the other. Either Hasbro saw it and decided, you know what, maybe it's time to cut ties. Like, they saw the Zenkaiger concept art, and they're like, all right, I'm a head out. And again, this is all just rumors, and like, we don't know whether the Toei split rumor is true, or the other new rumor which came out is true, which is that we are still going to be splitting, but we're going to wait a little bit and do a Zyuohger adaptation. So I just want to remind you guys, too, that if this ends up being true, and any of this reason and speculation behind this is true, that doesn't necessarily mean that we couldn't do Sentai adaptations in the future, and that it's not possible. Like, for example, if this split happens and some of this stuff is true about the reasoning of why Zenkaiger is weird and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that series after Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers won't be more traditional looking, and that we could use those in the future. Like, whether the rumors are completely untrue and we still do Toku adaptations, there's still possibilities for it. Or maybe we stop doing Toku adaptations and the rumor is true, but down the road we decide to do Sentai adaptations again. That doesn't mean that Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers has cut off that potential forever, because there's every chance that at some point after those series we'll get something that's much easier for them to adapt into Power Rangers. With that being said, I don't think any series is unadaptable. There's been a lot of talk about that recently with Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers rumors and Loopad and ToQger, and I don't think any Sentai can not be adapted. I think that's closed-minded thinking. It just needs to be put in the right hands. With that being said, I don't want to see any more adaptations, because that's where I want to see the franchise go. I want to see us break away from it, but I don't think anything is impossible. As weird as Zenkaiger looks, and as weird as Dawn Brothers could potentially look, because I haven't seen it as of this recording, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility to do it for Power Rangers if it's placed in the right hands. Let's also keep in mind we still have Sentai series we've skipped, so if they ever do decide to do Sentai adaptations again, or they never stop, we still have Zyuohger, Kyuranger, Loopad, ToQger. I know people are going to talk about the reasons those are unadaptable, but we still have those on the table. And there's no reason that we need to be in step with Sentai or go in order. The only real concrete reasoning for any of that would be that they can get some of the props that aren't degraded sooner, because some of the props tend to degrade. But just make your own props. Every other show has to do it. I know that's part of the cost-saving thing, but that's not a huge deal. But there's always been talk ever since we've done Sentai adaptations that, like, oh, we need to be caught up with it. But there's never been a reason to be caught up with the Sentai. Sentai doesn't have a continuous narrative, and even if it did, we don't follow Sentai's story. We do our own storyline, so it's not like a dubbed anime where you're really behind. So there's like no reason to be behind it. And outside of being annoyed with having to serve a 2-sentence purgatory with certain Power Rangers series I don't like, I actually kind of liked us being out of step with Sentai, because I liked not finishing a Sentai series and then immediately watching the Power Rangers counterpart, because it made the Power Rangers counterpart then feel more fresh, because I wasn't remembering the footage so clearly and remembering what the Sentai series did, and it allowed there to be a little bit break between the two shows. So I kind of liked being out of step with Sentai. But so keep that in mind. I think it's interesting to think about whether this new big swing for Sentai is a result of that and vice versa. Only time will tell, and I'm curious to find out if the deal is true or not. I'm hoping it is personally, but we'll have to see. But I just want you guys to keep in mind that that doesn't mean that Sentai adaptations would be closed off for all time. We have backlog series to use, and by the time we get to any new Power Rangers shows, there could have been multiple Sentai shows after Dawn Brothers that are more normal. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Hasbro decided to split from Toei, if this is true, because they saw Zenkaiger, or do you think that they decided to do Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers because the split already happened? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can catch my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.